How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what up nerds? How's everyone doing? Welcome back. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. We are locked and loaded. It's your boy TraderPrad. We are back in the house. The camera's a little too low. There we go, that's a little bit better. Back in the house, ready to talk about the market, breaking the red streak and hopefully starting a green streak. Let's see if we can kickstart a green streak back on board. Good day on the market today. Opportunities there were a lot of opportunities, especially Nvidia gave you an amazing trade today, so shout out to that. You had RCL, monster move on RCL above all-time high. CCL had a good sympathy trade off of that. Trying to remember what other stocks moved. Chinese stocks moved later on in the day, Baba and so on. So good opportunities across the board. I was able to. I started off the day a little bit red, but then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm already having a horrible start to this week and horrible last week. So let me not try to do more stupid shit and just stay away until a really good trade shows up. And when it did, I took advantage of that. So I was able to turn my little small red day into a nice little green day for myself to end the red streak. So that's how my day went. Hopefully you guys were able to capitalize on some of the opportunities. And tomorrow, if you did not capitalize on any of the opportunities today, there are a ton of opportunities tomorrow. You have trying to remember, what was it? Apple doesn't report tomorrow, but three big names report tomorrow. I can't remember at the top of my head, but three big names report tomorrow after hours. You also have FOMC interest rate decisions. That means FOMC interest rate decisions at 2 p.m. and then Papa Powell on the microphone at 2:30. So all kinds of craziness expected going into tomorrow with that event, and then the big three reporting earnings after that, and then you have Apple reporting Thursday after hours. So it's just non-stop action coming up ahead. So let's dive in. Let's talk about my trades on the day. How did I do, or how did I execute on some of my positions, and then how could I do better, and then from there we'll go to the fun stuff, which is getting ready for tomorrow. Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta, says Dieter. Those are the 3 reporting. I'm guessing that's what you're replying with, and if that's it, thank you, Dieter. I appreciate it. Yeah, usually, you know, you can just look right here. Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, along with IBM, Lam Research, and Wolfspeed. If I remember, Wolf has been getting hit a little bit. Western Digital, WDC, also reporting tomorrow. Where is Wolf these days? I haven't seen Wolf in a long time. Wolf is not looking so good. Semiconductor company reporting very, very soon. So we'll see how this one trades. Every single pop on earnings has been just slammed back down, sadly, on that company. Okay, so let's start off with showing you my trades on the day. So I guess we'll start off with the chronological order. Starting with RCL, my best trade on the day. Could have been way better had I done a couple things differently. The first thing was the amount of risk that I put on this trade. For example, the amount of money I risked on this no setup Wells Fargo trade, you know, the risk that I put on RCL should have been the risk that I put on WFC, and the risk that I put on WFC should have been the risk that I put on RCL. So complete different setups. This is no setup really, a D trade at best. If you want to pat yourself on the back and be like, oh, it's a C trade, remove my setup. Sorry, yeah, remove your message. If you want to pat yourself and be like, oh, this is actually a C, whatever. But I gave it like a B level risk right off the open on a stock that has no setup, not in play, boomer name, and no reason to really even start the day trading like that on that position. So idiotic. Had I put that risk on here, this would have been much different, right? I would have been able to take many more exits. I would have been able to really slam dunk this trade on the day. Just idiotic mistakes. Something that I've been struggling with, which is risk allocation. Right now I kind of do same size bets because I'm still in the stage of learning what a good setup is and what a bad setup is. I'm a little bit past that stage now I have a differentiation of where the edges are, what your edge is, what to spot within an edge, like a failed breakdown of a range low and a pop right back up, and things like that. So when you spot those little nuances, you're supposed to really scale up on it, and I was able to spot a really good nuance right into $250 area on RCL. Got long 251 if I remember correctly, and basically risking $1 per share, maybe $1.50 per share at best. That gave me a good $10 move to the upside. End of the day, had you traded it properly, because the stock never really breaks below the 21 EMA, you would have been able to get $20 per share for risking $1. So those type of risk to reward trades are exactly what you're looking for. And if you want to do like a math calculation as to how many times you win or lose on a trade like this, I would say around 60% of the time you win on a trade like this if it's in play. This is in play. They reported earnings, they beat earnings, all things were good. All-time high was around 260, so you could have expected a move to 260 at the very least after the report that the stock just had. So that was not out of scope, right? That expectation for 260 was not out of scope. What does the stock do? Goes into 260, stalls out. I take my profit. I say thank you, Jesus. I take my win, and I didn't think there was a bigger move behind it, but boy oh boy was there a big move. $31 move today on RCL. So shout out to that stock for padding my day today. Nvidia, I was actually fighting for a long over here at the bottom, but missed on that long, or I passed on that long I should say, because that $2 bar range was $1.50. So I didn't want to risk $1.50. That high was 117.47, the low was 116, so basically $1.50. I did not want to risk $1.50 on that position, especially right after taking a stupid trade on WFC. But these are the trades where you actually take the risk. You know, if you even put in a B-size risk on this position over here, giving it $1.50 risk, that would have given you a $10 move to the upside. So it's like, it's doing shit like this that pisses me off at myself. It's staying away. So you traded the open? Yes, I traded the open, even though I said don't trade the open. Yes, it's exactly what I did. Shut up, Diner. Fuck you. You're supposed to wait till 10 o'clock. Yes. But if you have a setup, you're supposed to trade the setup, and this is that setup. This would have been, you know, before 10 o'clock also, right? This would have been before 10 o'clock also. But even if you give this a C-level risk on this trade, you know, let's say you give it $10 risk. That $10 risk, if you traded it properly, would have given you a $40 winner, a $50 winner, and then afterwards, where I went long anyways, that could have given you another, you know, if you were risking a $10, that could have given you another 30, 40, 50, another $50 winner right there. You could have made $100 in the day just by risking $20 and $20 twice. Yes, the Bella scalp indeed. Yes, the Bella scalp indeed. But I just didn't want to risk $1.50, as I said earlier. So I screwed up on that. But what I could have done, I guess, like we mentioned, taking the Bella scalp trade on the pullback right here, and as the stock defends above 117.50, you can see how each little pop, or sorry, I should say drop into 117.50 actually continues to hold as buyers come in and start supporting it. So beautiful Bella scalp. You could also call it a failed break of yesterday's low. The stock failed to break below yesterday's low, doesn't have any volume, any follow through, especially on the selling side, and then it's just complete 360, or I should say 180 back into VWAP and all the way higher. So I don't capture that trade. Had I captured that trade, I don't think I would have flipped short, or maybe I would have, I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I get long for a nice little scalp. I flip short for a quick scalp again, and then I flip long again, and that long was monstrous. Nvidia was just insane today. You know, imagine anyone who bought 116, 117 on Nvidia. You're so happy that you bought that. Not me, because I didn't buy any. Fuck. RKLB, we talked about this trade yesterday on the stream. If it breaks below 28.50, I'm interested in that short. The stock clearly had a little bit of a weakness later on in the day. It breaks to the downside and pops right off of that 28.50 area, but after popping, it immediately pushes right back into that 28.50 and breaks that low. So I'm able to capture a nice 50-cent per share scalp. But today's VWAP basically ended up being yesterday's VWAP, so there wasn't much follow through. And because today's VWAP started to flatten out right around yesterday's VWAP, you know, my manager actually told me to keep an eye out for that, and because that actually started to happen, I recognized that, hey, there might not be much real follow through below 28. It would go below 28 to 27.80, but it just did not have much follow through below 28. So every time it started to reclaim 28 in a way, you can see how it kept making a higher low, higher high. I just started to close the trade and I walked away from it. QQQ, nice little high day break, quick little one risk unit scalp. So as soon as I get, you know, 1R, I take out 25%, and then I try to see if I can hold it to a bigger move. And then I think I trailed this by 2-minute bar or 5-minute bar, I can't remember, but I trail it, and then that trail triggers. After this, I go to the superstore, get myself some good salad, and nom 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 nom, eat some salad. Okay, and that is QQQ. So RKLB, QQQ, Nvidia, RCL, showed you those 4 trades. The next 4 trades, Amazon. 240, tried to go short in front of 240 because this was an insane move from 230 to 240 in a one straight shot. Takes out the previous all-time high at 236. I should have possibly just hit that 236 for a breakout, but I didn't and missed out on a nice move into 240. I tried to short from 240. That doesn't really work out. Later on, I tried a long from VWAP, and that long actually ends up giving me a quick little scalp into 240 from about what, 238.60, 238.50. So from 238.50 to 240, get a nice little quick scalp on Amazon to the long side. Quick little winner. Winner chicken dinner. Apple, insane move. Back-to-back days, Apple moves about $10 to the upside. That's just crazy. So Apple goes right back into 240. I'm not expecting Apple to stay above 240 today. There's no way, snowball's chance in hell that Apple's actually closing above 240. And let me see if I was right on that idea. Apple, snowball's chance in hell, closing above 240, did not close above 240. So I guess if I really believed in that theory, oh wow, that double top was so much better. Yeah, I should have really kept an eye out for the double top. I think at that time actually I went for a lunch, or I was busy at looking at some other stock, but that gave you a beautiful double top on the 2-minute and gave you the real flush that you might have been looking for, and then continued all the way into end of day into 237. So 240 short, got out around 239 for my trade. The real trade that if you were really adamant on forcing that idea was on that retest of 240 and a failure to have followed through above 240 on Apple. SLXN, small cap name. I tried to see if it could squeeze above 150 to put some pain on the short sellers a little bit, but didn't have any follow through. I closed it. First time in a long time, I guess. I did not pay for any shorts. Did not care to pay for shorts on small caps today, so that might have cost me a little bit of money. Perfect double top right back into that 150 area, gives you a good 50 cent per share trade for barely risking anything more than 10 cents, let's say. So you're getting almost 5R on that trade right there, on that quick little double top short. But more importantly, you could have also gotten the same trade from the $1. You can see how the $1 area just keeps getting defended non-stop on every single flush down. The stock is just not able to stay below $1, eventually giving you that squeeze move back up. So you could have kind of built into the long over there too. I just tried my little breakout long and didn't have any follow through. I said no thanks and I just walked away from it. SFD, this was the IPO that I was talking about. Remember how I said the higher the stock opens, the more I'm interested in shorting this name. It didn't really open high. It opened around $21 and it just kept getting smoked today. Didn't pay for shorts. The shorts were really cheap. I should have just paid for it. I always pay for shorts on IPOs, even if the IPO ends up being shit. I just go whatever, who cares. But today I said no thanks. I didn't pay for shorts, so the only thing I tried to do was go long in front of 21 where size was. That size broke and then I got slipped 20 cents to the downside. Lack of liquidity, no volume, so I got slipped 20 cents to the downside, and that was GG on that trade. Didn't really flip short, didn't bother to pay for shorts. I guess I could have paid for shorts and taken the $20 breakdown. That gave you a quick dollar per share almost. So there were opportunities on the stock. I just didn't bother to keep an eye out for it later on in the day. But usually IPOs are one of my most profitable setups. Today, taking a little bit of a loser. Think I'm still profitable on IPOs overall, even after today's loss. So it doesn't matter. RTX reported earnings, had a pretty good open, but that open got stuffed and the stock moved all the way into yesterday's VWAP. So if you were looking at the continuous yesterday's VWAP, RTX bounces right off the yesterday's VWAP and then reclaims today's VWAP, or at least tries to. You can see how it goes back and forth. You can call this rejecting today's VWAP instead of reclaiming VWAP. I'll just say it's consolidated around VWAP and tried to go higher, tried to pivot higher above VWAP, but it just didn't have any success on that follow through. Thankfully, I gave the stock the right amount of risk, so anytime it did go lower and tried to shake people out, I wasn't one of those people who got shaken out. Thankfully, I got to punch out for near break even. I did take a loss on this, I won't lie to you, but I got to punch out for near break even because I gave the stock the right amount of risk. I didn't give it the exact wick lows, which is what beginner traders, amateur traders do. You want to look at those wick lows and give it a little bit more risk, and then you want to really consider the sizing based on how much risk you're having to give on that trade. How much is the potential reward? So me having to consider that, the setup is not even worth it at all, because I'm getting around 130 long. I have to give it around 128 for risk, and the best I could potentially get out of this trade is what, 132, maybe 133 at best. So this is a potential coin flip of a trade, you know, 50% win rate on this trade. Just give it a coin flip of a win rate on this one, and if you do that, the risk to reward, the win rate, this is like a D trade and a C trade. So even put in the amount of risk that I put on this, before even analyzing all the things that I'm analyzing right now, these are the things that I want to be analyzing before getting into the damn trade, right? Before even, oh, I want to take the 130 breakout. Before you even analyze those things, you want to think about these things before getting into the trade, and this review process, thinking out loud, journaling it. I journal after stream. You can ask Dieter gets my journals every single night. Journal in your notes, talk out loud to yourself, maybe, you know, record a video and then watch that video back and really internalize the patterns that you have to go through to figure out if the trade is even worth it. And this one, just simply not fucking worth it. But the amount of risk I put on this one, thankfully I didn't lose anything on that. Right, thankfully I didn't lose anything on that. BKSY, this is a funny one. Pulled up on my, what was it, scanner, the capitulation scanner, right? The stock capitulates to the upside technically, but I wouldn't really call this capitulation, you know. I wouldn't really call this capitulation, but it technically, in the scanner's sense, it did pop away from the VWAP. It did pop a certain amount of distance in a certain amount of period with a certain amount of volume. So all those criteria is matched, and the stock technically capitulated, right? So the top got put in after it bounced like that. But after the top basically got put in, I was noticing that it was getting bought up above 1660. So I started to get long in that area, 1660. Tried to take a little breakout below 17 and see if it had any follow through. Didn't have any follow through. So right below my first entry, I just cut the trade. Didn't think I needed to give it that extra risk on this position. I think that exit right there was the right exit. Had this been a winner chicken dinner, I think this would have been a much bigger move, because usually, as my manager says it, when a capitulation candle happens, if it's not the beginning, if it's not the end, it's the beginning. BKSY, black sky. If it's not the beginning, it's the end. So look, see, capitulatory volume, right? Capitulatory action, and you did get a capitulation short opportunity technically. But hey, who cares? If it wasn't the end, then it would have been the beginning. And if you look at the stock on the daily chart, boy oh boy, would have had an insane blast off, with the whole space theme potentially being the next one on watch. Even after selling off today, the stock is up, what, 6%? At that point, that when I took the screenshot, which was at 3 p.m., it was up 8% still. So not really that negative, this drop. It's still in the green side, but the activity on the day was pretty bearish on the stock. I should have just listened to my damn scanner. All right, last but not least, Wells Fargo. I'm an idiot. We planned for this trade yesterday. We'll plan for this trade again today. But I need to be a lot slower. There's no need to be so aggressive and quick on a bank name, on a boomer name, especially when it's not day 1. This is what, day 2, day 3, day 5, day 10. Who cares? This is not an in-play name. Why am I putting so much risk right off the open? This is 934, 935. Right before any other stock. Maybe put that amount of risk on Nvidia off the open if you really want to, because you can get out much quicker and take less of a hit. But instead, giving it a stupid amount of risk, giving it stupid amount of entries, and trying to force that long above 78 for no absolute reason. There's no setup, there's nothing. Just because you planned for it yesterday doesn't mean you force it when the setup's not really there. So we'll be planning for it today, but the setup needs to be, and I'll talk about the setup very in depth, the setup needs to be actually holding above what's that price, holding above 78, very, very cleanly. I want to show you now part of the watch list and why we'll be talking about it. So part of the watch list today will be China number 1, because lately China has been beating America's butt in the AI sector. Alibaba has reported, where can we find a better picture? There we go. Alibaba has reported their what is it called, AI metrics, and looks like their AI metrics actually beat even DeepSeek's metrics, whose metrics were currently touted as the best metrics out there on the market, right? So DeepSeek is in line or slightly worse than apparently O1. O1 is that $200 package from ChatGPT, but ChatGPT's free version is absolutely garbage. But DeepSeek DeepSeek R1 is apparently very much in line with O1, which is really good. One of my programming buddies who thinks he's an AI specialist, I don't know, hopefully he's not watching me because he'll be very upset that I said that in quotes, says that R1 and O1 are still very much different. End of the day, all that matters is what the rhetoric is on the social medias and what people are talking about, and right away when numbers like this get dropped and they're comparing it with the most recent numbers that DeepSeek just posted and they're reporting better numbers, that is interesting. That makes things a lot more fun. So China number 1, China's taking over the AI battle, and now everyone who is in the AI investment basket, they are going to be wanting to invest in companies that are Chinese and AI also. So watch out for these Chinese companies: Baba, Pinduoduo, FXI is a good ETF to keep an eye on. QFin, apparently one of the bigger AI companies in China related. Let me actually message my buddy because he was asking me. Since you were asking about AI related companies, Baba, QFin from China are also on watch. So give him a quick little update, because buddy is looking to buy up AI companies on discount, which Chinese companies for the most part are. They are on discount, right? They're still around their 200-day moving average. If you buy around this area, technically you're only risking like what, $10-20, and your reward on Baba is really, sky is the limit on the reward for Baba, if you ask me. Very undervalued. Okay, so let's see what happens on these names tomorrow. Obviously, you want to go to some of these stocks and throw in a VWAP from the start of that move. So that move started right there. I want to label that VWAP also. This will be AI news VWAP. I'll copy this and potentially do the same thing for QFin. Keep an eye on. Oh, Qfin didn't really have too much volume. It did make a move though. It did make a move, but didn't really have too much volume. We'll see how it moves tomorrow. TIGR, FUTU, Pinduoduo, JD, but obviously Baba. That's the one with the name. That's the one with the AI. That's the one with the hype behind it. So let's see what kinds of fun we can have on all of the sector together as the whole basket. So that is going to be the #1 watch list tomorrow. China all over the watch list for me. High priority names right there will be the Chinese basket for the AI, and then you can also keep an eye out for the American basket of AI, potentially seeing some de-risking, maybe Palantir, maybe Oracle, maybe Nvidia, potentially seeing some de-risking, and then people putting money into Chinese AI, because China, baby, number one. All right, Starbucks reported earnings today. What? Oh, because I typed it wrong. I typed it sucks bucks, because that's what they do. They suck. They still reported I mean, they reported good, sure, but still revenue decline on comparable stores. So Starbucks still sucking, but you know, if TH is in the chat, he'll start saying, go up Starbucks, go up. He'll start, you know, dancing and parading Starbucks up and Nike down all day. Speaking of which, 3 stripes, baby, 3 stripes all day. Sucks bucks. B sucks. Who's B? Who's B? I don't know who B is. All right. 9.4 billion versus 9.32, 69 versus 66, of course. Comparable stair-sole decline of 4, driven by 6% decline in comparable transactions, offset by 3% increase in average ticket. Comparable stair-soles fell by 4%, 4% internationally, and 6% in China. Active loyalty rewards membership increased to 34.6 million in the quarter, up by 1%, and 2% from the fourth quarter of 2024. Starbucks said U.S. gift card loads reached to 3.5 billion. Company opened 377 net new stores in the first quarter and ended the period with 40,576 total locations. While we're only 1 quarter into our turnaround, we're moving quickly to act on the back to Starbucks effort. Okay, and we've seen a positive response. I've not set foot into Starbucks in over a year. Okay, but that's also because I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee at all. I think coffee tastes like ass. I hate coffee. I don't know what ass tastes like, but I imagine it tastes like coffee. Starbucks suspended its guidance for that's not a good thing, for the fiscal 2024 last quarter, citing the company's CEO transaction period coupled with the current state of the business. Okay, that's just kind of using that as an excuse. So not necessarily a good thing that they don't want to report guidance, if you ask me. Board declared cash dividends of 61 cents per share payable on to shareholders on 28th as of record from 14th. So if you're a shareholder before 14th, you would get 61 cents per share of your holding. Hopefully you're holding below 61 cents of Starbucks. Otherwise, you know, it's no, I'm not gonna say it's useless. That's not how dividends work. I'm just trying to make a joke. But yeah, 61 cents per share if you are if you're a holder before Feb 14th, was it? Feb 14th, yeah. So positive turnaround efforts, yeah, blah 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 blah. But they didn't really want to guide for the future. That's not a good thing. However, this is a good range if Starbucks does want to blast off from this range and go higher, then obviously keep an eye for it. 103, you want to see some buying above 103, above 102. They tried to do that in the pre-market, sorry, after hours, but just did not successfully manage to do that at all. So keeping an eye on Starbucks tomorrow. Right now it is managing to hold above today's high, or yeah, I guess you could say yes, today's high or today's high. Basically both days have the same high. So trying to hold above 100. As long as it's holding above 100, I think a long is doable. But if it's not holding 100, I don't even want to look for a long on this name at all. So let me put notes on this. Under, over 100. If stock is not above 100, not interested in a trade at all. Because I don't care about the short on this name. I just simply don't care about the short on this name. Unless it's a little extended. What's the ATR? $2? Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. There probably is like a way better trades tomorrow setting up with the Chinese sector that I just don't want to put my interest wasting my time on Starbucks tomorrow. Logitech, I think they report like overnight. I'm not sure exactly when they report, or is it during our time? Anyways, Logitech reports usually very low volume name, 1.3 million shares only traded for $100 name, so very low liquidity. Expected to, oh, they already reported, so they did report a little bit of a nothing burger in the after hours over here. So I'll read the report really quickly. But Logitech sometimes gives you a decent trade, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it for tomorrow. So some action in the pre-market, hopefully, for us to take advantage of. Revenue 1.34 versus 1.25, EPS 1.59 versus 1.4, 7% year-over-year growth. Operating income increased by 6%. Cash flow total to 371 million. Logitech repurchased 200 million of its common stock. Okay, company ended with period with 1.5 billion in cash. Outlook, Logitech raises full year. That's also good. From 4.39 to 4.47 to a new range of 4.54 to 4.57. So raised it pretty high. Estimates were 4.48, so guiding higher. Looks like a lot more people are buying Logitech stuff again, so good for that. Management is currently discussing the quarter on a conference call that kicked off at 4:30, so conference call already happened. All things are looking good for so far on the stock. Just a nothing burger move overall on the after hours over here. Ideally, you want to see the stock holding above 92. I think pre-market itself, you might even see a completely different range on this name. I wouldn't be surprised if you see, where did it even pop to? It popped into 96. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually start seeing the stock holding above 95, which is where earnings VWAP is, and then you get a possible long opportunity from 95 into $100. I think that could be something to keep an eye on. I'm gonna put 95 as an inflection level in my notes, and if I find a good setup coming into play, I want to be involved in that. I want to be involved in that play for Logitech. Let's go to some of the stocks that report tomorrow pre-market, because sadly those are the only names I care about that reported today after hours. So Logitech, and I'm trying to quickly see if there's any other name that I care about. FFIV, ooh, that's actually a good name to keep an eye on. NXT, these are also two of the names that Barkate wanted us to take a look at. I completely did not see them on my first go of the scan. So NXT actually made a nice little pop. What did they do again? I can't remember what they do. FFIV was another company that previously was a good trade on their earnings report into all-time high. So yes, this is keeping an eye on these names for sure. Let me actually add these two on my watch list real quick. FFIV, NXT, and see how they reported. 3.84 versus 3.36. That's good. 766.49 versus 715. Also good. Increase from 692. That's also good. Don't know what they do. I can't remember at all. Stable IT spending environment and strong execution led to okay, what do you guys actually do? F5 software revenue, year-to-year growth, software revenue, everything is just increase. I'm just skimming through it so far. AI stuff, we are seeing new opportunities emerge in two new main areas: hybrid, multi-cloud, and AI. Okay, Widespread hybrid adoption. So you guys work in the cloud area. We simplified the crushing complexity of these environments in ways competitors cannot, and is leading to new revenue potential. Ooh. You know what that means? Add this one, FFIV, to my watch list. Go up! To my AI. Come on, where is it? There it is. To my AI parts. FFIV is now in the AI section of my watch list. So getting a nice little boost up there. See second quarter revenue in the range of 705 to 725 versus 702. So pretty much in range. Their estimates are higher than what the range low is. 302 to 314 versus 321. That is a miss. Company also raised. Wait, what? Did they raise it, or that's just a miss? Yeah, that is a miss. The company raises 2025 to be between 6 to 7%, with earnings growth to be between 6.5 to 8.5%. Okay. Okay. Big pop, however. Big pop on the name. Let's go back to the chart. Big pop on the name already was at its all-time high. I mean, $30 pop is kind of insane. Okay, $30 pop is kind of insane. Might just take out a lot of the juice on this name. So as long as you know, it's more than a 30, it's a $40, $50 pop almost. So as long as the stock is holding above 300 on support, that's your inflection level. Right now the earnings VWAP is at 305, so you might even keep an eye out for 305 E anchored VWAP to see if it has any buying. If 305 holds on dips, can look long, but might have to do it against 300 to be safe. So watching how the stock trades. What is this dip low? 301, just above 300. So if the stock does go into 305 off the open tomorrow, that's going to be a level to keep an eye out for. It's a growth company, I'm expecting. What is it? They do make $3-4 a quarter, which is insane. I'm not sure if it's a growth company actually at this point. FFIV, let's go see what your PE is. That's not bad at all. 15 billion market cap, 58 million float. That's it. I mean, what am I looking at here? Okay. So very interesting name, obviously, right? Very interesting name. If 300 holds, this could be the day maker, or the day breaker, or the widow maker, as they call it. So be careful trading things like that. It could be exciting, but I will potentially keep that at the high level of my watch list right there. FFIV, would love to see a 300 area hold for the long. Let's go to NXT. How did they report really quick? Take a look on this one. Boom bop beam, boom bop bam. Kind of shit I'm on, you couldn't understand. Estimated earnings by 75%. Beat earnings by 75%. I was like, what does that mean? Estimated earnings by 75. Beat earnings by 75%. Okay, reporting EPS of 1.03 versus 0.59. Revenue, however, was down 31.06 million from same period last year. Guidance in the range of 375 to 395 compared to what they just reported, which was 1.03. Ooh, wow, okay. So that's a little bit of a beat. In previous quarter, the company beat on EPS by 0.37, resulting in a 25% increase change in share prices. They are making more and more money on NXT over here. Not bad at all. Can I see a little bit more break? What? You literally gave me 4 things of the exact same recap. Okay, 679, which beat the estimates by 650 by 4%. This is a 4.42 decrease from the same period last year. So missing revenue year over year by 4%, but beating estimates by about the same by 4%. Beating EPS by 75%, and expecting what was it, full year guidance? Okay, not the next quarter. Thank God I reread it. I thought I was gonna say full year guidance. Next quarter to be, what is it? Q1 2025 estimates, actual. Is this the one right now, or how can you say actual? I guess this is the one that's right now. I'm guessing this is the one that's right now. Anyways, I'm so confused. When they report these things, I'm just so lost. Like, how are we already in Q2 of 2025? Isn't it just Q1? I'm so lost when I'm reading these numbers. Only thing I care about is how much are they growing year over year, how much are they reporting compared to the estimates, and looks like so far things are going good on NXT. Life is much easier when you're a day trader, okay? You don't have to worry about fundamentals too much. All you have to care about is what the price action is doing, what are the patterns telling you, you trade the patterns. Right now, it's clearly getting bought in the after hours. A nice little pop, but you know, the stock has had a lot of trouble on the upside over here. So even if it does pop, what is it, above 46, if it doesn't really stay strong above 46, is it a long? So you know, this could be something in the money trade, question mark. And for that, it needs to go higher in the pre-market and then set up for a pre-market breakout for a long. So I'll keep an eye on it. It's not as high priority for me as FFIV. FFIV obviously reporting pretty good. I might have to read the report later on again just to kind of see what the report is saying, and if I really like the trade as much as I'm saying about it right now. And then if I really like it as much, I'll keep an eye on it very, very much. ASML. These stocks report tomorrow, earnings pre-market, so keep an eye out for these ones. T-Mobile, I don't really care about T-Mobile, but I just have it on my watch list to mention it for you. I'll delete that one. General Dynamics, GD. Oh, T-Mobile is actually a $200 stock. Maybe we care about T-Mobile. Maybe we care about T-Mobile. T-Mobile's a $4 ATR name. We did just trade ATR. I don't know why I'm saying we. I did just trade ATR recently. Sorry, AT&T, and that was a good long. So maybe I do care about T-Mobile if it's a $4 ATR with a $200 name. So we'll see how that one sets up. T-Mobile reporting earnings tomorrow pre-market. ASML, $700 name. You know, crypto sector did recently get absolutely body slammed with the whole DeepSeek and Baba news. We'll see if Nvidia gets sold off with the Baba news tomorrow, go back to the downside, or does Nvidia rally with the AI news? That's a big volume candle on Nvidia, goddamn. So we'll see if Nvidia starts to you know, go back higher, and if ASML kind of adds some fun to the semiconductor sector over here by reporting really good and blasting off to the upside. Also, you could look at sympathy names like TSM, AMD, ON, MRVL. There's just a whole basket of names that you can just keep a lookout for if you're interested in that semiconductor basket. GD, General Dynamics, also reports tomorrow pre-market. You got a really good flat bottom coming into play over here. Let's say the stock reports bad, goes into this flat bottom, gives you some sort of a failed breakout, and then gives you a long to get you back into 260, 265. That's a great long to be involved in, right? Otherwise, it gives you a nice little breakdown short to be involved in, and that it's a great setup too. So GD, keeping an eye on seeing how this stock reports into this 256 area, if it gives you a short or a nice little dip long off the report. VFC, owner of Supreme. Now Supreme is sold off. I think now they just own, what is it, North Face and a bunch of other companies like that. So VFC, VF Corporation, has previously given you some decent trades, so keeping an eye on this one. No idea what to expect from it. Oh, they actually managed to turn around. They are now above the 200-day moving average, so obviously changing the tendencies from being a bearish name for quite a bit to now a little bit of a bullish name. A little overextended on the daily maybe, if you ask me, but the the earnings report will be kind of changing things. It could even be an episodic pivot that could have potentially started here. You can see how the pivot happened back above the 200-day moving average, and then now a nice little pivot from what, $15 into $26, $25. You're basically double your money at the moment, and now with the earnings report tomorrow, hopefully you're expecting even more money coming into play. So watching BFC for a good long over there. Boeing reported earnings today. They got a pop, but that pop got sold off. I'm not really too interested in trading Boeing. I think it's just a really ugly name to trade as a day trade. It just never makes me money. I've never had success trading Boeing, so it's on my shit list. Honestly, it's on my shit list. I might keep an eye on it, but I might just not care to trade it. My nose is so itchy. I don't even have any boogers, but it's itchy. It's probably the cold. I might need to put some lotion on my nose. Do I just put Vaseline on my nose right now, chat? Okay. So Boeing, don't really care too much about it. GM, I mean, it did report, it did break down. If it pushes back into today's low and then gets weak below today's low, maybe there's a short there. But you can see how it just bounced from that 200-day moving average, right? The 200 EMA, the 200 SMA, both around the right area, the same area, sorry. The most recent low also right around the same area, and the stock just bounced from that area. So I'm just not really too interested to short this stock tomorrow. If it goes back into those lows, it could give you what Nvidia kind of did, where it tests these lows again and gives you a long back into today's VWAP. More interested if the stock actually starts to hold below today's low for a possible bigger push. So I need to see like a break down below today's low, a pop, and then reject around today's low for me to think there's an even bigger move lower. But other than that, I'm just not interested to keep an eye on this name. Maybe you get a pop and then you get to short the pop from 51, from 52, from 53. But then at that point, this is like a day 2 trade. The stock is above yesterday's tomorrow it would be above yesterday's VWAP, which would be today's VWAP. At that point, is it even a day 2 trade? It's clearly doing the opposite of what a stock should be doing as a day 2 trade. It should be rejecting today's VWAP. It should be going into today's low. It should be breaking today's low and then going much lower, but it's just not doing that. So is it even a trade that you want to keep an eye on? Potentially not. So I'm just not that interested to see if GM is going to make the cut for me tomorrow. RCL, very interested to see how RCL sets up. Looking for a dip buy opportunity. You can see how last month's high, also you can just say the previous all-time high, 258.70, 259, was that the previous all-time high? Yeah, I guess 258.10. Okay, where is that level coming from? Right there. Okay, so above 258 on a dip will be ideal. Today's VWAP is around 261, so 260 to 258, as long as the stock holds above 258 to 260, I think looking long on those dips is not wrong. And then potentially you get a long back into 270 or a bigger move above 270. Clearly the stock struggled to get above 270 today. Multiple minutes of 5-minute candles, it just did not manage to get above 270. 269.96. people are just playing games out there on the market. Some idiot put his order at 269.96 as a sell order, and that's why the stock could not get above 270. Why else would it make that top there? So people are playing games on the market. I love it. You know, it just makes my life so much more fun to see things like that. So 270 top. We'll see if we get a good dip buy opportunity on that bad boy. RTX, a nothing burger so far. right? Big fat nothing burger, stayed under earnings VWAP, got rejected below 130, but still above the previous all-time high. Managed to close above the previous all-time high, which was what, 128. So as long as the stock is above 128, I think you got a possible trade to keep an eye on RTX. So watching RTX without a doubt. Lockheed Martin, the counterpart. LMT, the counterpart to RTX, the defense name they reported, but they reported bad, so dropped by 9% today. Basically closed at the low of day. Wow, basically closed at the low of day on the position, down 9%, potentially even SSR. I wouldn't be surprised if it's SSR. So watching to see if the stock rejects on pops. 465 is today's VWAP slash earnings VWAP. So if it rejects earnings VWAP, I am very interested to see if LMT gives you a short on that trade. So maybe even throw in an alert to see if I can get a pop into that area. Okay, so if stock rejects earnings VWAP, looking short on pop. Okay. Now comes the fun sector, China sector. So no real levels on this, more other than you're watching how the 5-minute patterns play out. We're gonna get a lot of new price discovery, potential money being thrown into the Chinese sector, especially the ones that say that they have AI capabilities, and money being rotated away from the American sector and thrown into the Chinese sector. So Baba, QFin are the two ones that I've found after my scrounging on the internet and on Twitter and so on. If you guys know other names, please do let me know. I would appreciate that. At the moment, that VWAP is 94.50. Let's just say 94.50. Yeah, it says 94.40. I'm just gonna say 94 to 94.50, 94 to 94.50. Keep a watch on this area for a dip. You know, you'll be lucky to get a dip on this name tomorrow. I think it's gonna gap up, potentially trading higher in pre-market. I won't be surprised if we see $100 in the pre-market tomorrow, and you might have to decide if you want to go long above 100 or short near 100. So it might even be a whole different trading strategy tomorrow on this name. But the trading strategy that I just mentioned on it, the one that is a dip buy opportunity into 94.50 to 94, that I am looking to absolutely go long into. QFin, you know, good technical breakout chart on the daily chart, which was yesterday, and good follow through on that trade setup, that technical trade setup, with a real catalyst behind it. So this stock is almost as important as Baba, but the only problem is the liquidity on this name. It's less than 900,000 shares traded for a stock that's a $40 name, so really illiquid. Hopefully the liquidity starts to pick back up. We're into all-time high ranges, so if this one wants to have some fun with us tomorrow, I am ready to do the dance on this stock too. So right now 41.50 is the high, and I'm looking at that $40 area as a support. So if I get dips into 40, I am very interested on this one. Ooh, nice little breakout opportunity, potentially already breaking out into the pre-market tomorrow by the time we get it. But any dips above 113 almost is a no-brainer long at that moment. For now, I'll put 113 as a support because I am expecting the stock to get a pop into the 200-day moving averages. The EMA is at 116 and the SMA is at 123. So I'm expecting Pinduoduo to pop up with the rest of the sector in the pre-market into this area and potentially give you a short. Instead, I'll just wait for the long into dips into 116, into 113, and see how those trades to join the trend. Maybe we'll see what the trend is tomorrow. JD, very similar to Pinduoduo. FUTU, I think is a very similar to Baba on how the chart looks. TGIR, which is a small cap Chinese name. Doesn't really TIGR, doesn't really have anything related to AI in it, but just a small cap Chinese name. If you want to have more fun, you know, keep an eye on this one too. This one could really blast off above that $7.20 into almost $8.50, and you have to risk very, very little on this name, right? So $7.25 to keep an eye on for the bid on TIGR, especially if the sector starts to go haywire. All right, let's take a look at the space sector. PL actually holding $5 for multiple days back to back. So now that's your support area. You could basically go long here and expect PL to just blast off into $10 territories coming very, very soon. So PL, I'm not. It's not financial advice, obviously, okay? But this is a stock that I want to, you know, but let me just quickly open up this stock over here and tell my dad, because he's been asking for some stocks. PL stock, buy near $5 and close if it is weak under $4. Okay. So this stock over here, very, very boosted right now with the whole space sector. RKLB had a failed breakdown of that 2850, basically went into 28 and bounced right off of it. You got BKSY, which had a monster breakout and then got stuffed back down today. So the space sector still intact a little bit. The drone sector had a good Hail Mary save today too. Where's the drone sector? RCAT. OKLO and them had a pretty good day today too. I guess you can say most stocks had a pretty good day. The market had a nice bounce, so keeping an eye on all of those themes that were most recently in play. Now let's go talk about my worst trade of the day today, Wells Fargo. So ideally the only way I'm going to care about Wells Fargo is if it has buying above 78. If not strongly holding above 78, I don't give a shit. So putting that in my notes, making sure that I read it before I even trade it. And last but not least, you have the Mag 7 positions, the Nvidias, the Teslas, the Microsofts, the Googles. So, you know, there's I'm always going to be keeping an eye on these stocks. So Amazon, which had a good breakout above all-time high today. You had Google, which is, you know, just struggling to break above its all-time high, potentially making a move towards that area again. Meta, just insane at the moment. What a move on Meta. Netflix getting ready to potentially go back into the $1,000 area very soon. Tesla slowing down on the volatility, the volume, and on the ranges, but you know, it's still what's the ATR on Tesla? It's still a $20 ATR name. So yeah, you can still get $20 worth of ranges as long as you just wait for yesterday's low and wait for yesterday's high, and still play within the boundaries and the limits of the stock. Not try to force a trade on this one and try to do what Nvidia has been doing in the last few days, right? Because it's just not in play. So you want to know what stock you're trading, what the theme is, what's going on in the market, the story behind some of the moves. Right now the story is AI. It's DeepSeek, it's AI, it's China, it's Baba. So you want to keep an eye on the AI stocks, mainly Palantir, SoundHound, SoundHound, SOUN. We just found FFIV, another AI name, reported earnings, double catalyst, right? Double catalyst. So things like that. Look for symmetrical themes. Look for themes, sympathy, and stuff that follow together. The strongest one of them, you go long. The weakest one of them, you go short. You wait for pops to get short into. You wait for dips to you get long into. Fairly simple, right? Easier said than done. Fairly simple. You just have to make sure that you form your edge around these ways. Never go short above VWAP unless it capitulates. These are like the Lance methodologies. Never go short above VWAP unless it's capitulating. I would even add, like, you have a clear setup before you even think about a short on a stock that's above VWAP. Never go long on a stock below VWAP unless it's capitulating, but you want to be very clear how you want to spot a long above VWAP. A failed break around yesterday's low. For example, Nvidia did exactly that today, right? Nvidia had a failed break up below yesterday's low, and not only that, it also capitulated around yesterday's low. So multiple reasons to go long below VWAP, but here's a reason why you maybe don't want to go long below VWAP, and that would be I was gonna show you maybe somewhere over here yesterday where the low a day was right around pre-market. You don't want to go long here. It's not a capitulatory long. And later on in the day, it did give you a good capitulatory long, but things like that. You just make sure that you're sticking to the rules, sticking to the plan, and playing the in-play names. I'm talking to myself especially because I traded Wells Fargo like an idiot. If I didn't touch Wells Fargo today, boy oh boy, my day would have been much better. And ladies and gentlemen, that is basically the watch list for today. Let me quickly go over the IPO calendar because I know there is a name IPOing tomorrow. And what is that name? There is no IPO tomorrow. Okay, so never mind. I thought there was one tomorrow. No IPO tomorrow at all, but there are a little IPOs, 2 of them on the 31st of... We got 3 of them on the 31st. Maze, Infinity, and Metsera. So 3 IPOs on the 31st, on the end of the month. Okay, so that's the IPO calendar. And really quickly, show you guys the economic calendar. If you don't already know, we have FOMC tomorrow. So big FOMC interest rate decision at 2 o'clock. You got the FOMC press conference tomorrow at 2:30. Then you have the big 3 reporting. Tesla, fuck the big 3. N-word, it's just big meat. All right, I'll stop. So you got the top 3 over here reporting tomorrow also. So lots of craziness expected from 2 o'clock going into after it closed. But before that, not really any big things happening. You do have crude oil inventories at 10:30. That's every Friday crude oil, and every Thursday you got nat gas. So if you trade the crude oil inventory numbers, the CL, which is a very algoed out number based trade. So if you are looking to make those type of trades, you would want to keep an eye out for the 10:30 time period. Besides that, I'm basically just sitting on my hands waiting for the FOMC after like 1:30. After 1:30, I don't want to be in a position. I want to be flat, and I want to be patient for Papa Powell. Last but not least, actually 2 more things. After this, 1 more thing. So second last thing, let's take a look at the probability of interest rates. We are expecting a 99% probability that interest rates are not going to get cut. So imagine interest rates actually get cut tomorrow. Now that's going to be something. If interest rates get cut tomorrow, that's actually going to be something, and the market potentially has the biggest rebound we've seen in 2 days after having a big scare on the market. That would be absolutely bonkers. So be careful if you are short or if you're looking to play the short on pops, especially if interest rates do get changed to the lower side. If interest rates do get held exactly to what they are expected, they're expecting a 99% that interest rates don't get dropped tomorrow. They also don't get increased, which is good, but 99% that interest rates don't drop tomorrow. If that happens, potentially a nothing burger move on the market, and then at 2:30, based on the comments from Papa Powell, that will move the market, because if he is dovish or if he is hawkish based on how he based on the questions he gets asked and how he answers the questions, maybe he says, you know, we're still going to keep a track for some rate cuts or rate hikes in the future. So things like that is hawkish. Rate cuts in the future, a little bit dovish. So things like that you want to keep an eye out for here, or at least an ear out for, and listen to that stream that starts at 2:30. Last thing, check out my social medias. All of the links down below in the description or in my bio, depending on the platform you're watching me on, for example Twitch or Twitter. Check out my social media links at the top, and also my affiliate sponsors. These are the 4 softwares that I actually use every single day. Flash Research, I use it for small caps. Trade Ideas, I use it for everything. TraderSync, I use it to journal my trades. And Benzinga Pro helps me with reading earnings with you guys. I listen to Squawk every single day in the morning, and actually throughout the whole day I listen to the Benzinga Pro Squawk. And also right off the bat, it helps me finding research. I'm also interested in using Benzinga Pro to catch new space trades. So that's something that I'm working on right now, a little programming project that I'm working on. So you know, if you're interested in things like that, you might be interested in checking out tools that can help you with it. So if you want to get discount, all of those opportunities using my links through my Linktree page. That will be the end of today. I am going to call it, get some food in my tummy. My sister-in-law made some good red Thai curry with some bok choy. That's the only thing I saw being put in there, so I'll be honest, I don't know what's in there besides bok choy, but I bet it's amazing. Go get some good white rice, some good bok choy, some good red Thai curry, probably some onions and a bunch of other stuff in there too, and nom 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 while I do my journals, and then I can send it to Dieter, and then obviously Dieter, only thing he will say in the review is, "Oh, haha, you didn't get enough sleep." That's all he says. Dude, do you even ever look at the stocks, Dieter? Come on. Like, what kind of reviews are those? Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. It's time to head out. Good luck on the market. Be safe with FOMC. And if you're trading earnings tomorrow after hours, make sure to apply risk management, or you know, apply risk management no matter what, right? TraderPrad out. Good night. Peace. To all across the board. Magnificent 7 also had a pretty good day on themselves today, so pretty good moves across the board. Or tech basket get destroyed. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow, as you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, TraderSync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.